Hello and happy Monday to you from Radically Rational and radicallyrational.com as we do a little football scatter shooting on a Monday morning. Well, I'd say the Aggies rebounded nicely from Saturday night's Mark Stoops fiasco, rejected by popular demand, as the Aggies immediately and wisely pivoted to Duke's Mike Elko to succeed Jimbo Fisher as the head coach in College Station. Because Elko gets it. He did a notably nice job in an earlier stint as the defensive coordinator for the Aggies before he moved on to Duke to get some head coaching experience. He's the right age. He gets it culturally. A&M has more resources than almost anybody else, and Elko, unlike Fisher, will be able to marshal those resources. Good hire. Now let's see what BB's Houston Cougars do. It just never really worked out for Dana Holgorsen in his 5 years. And the one thing we know about the UH administration is that they will not tolerate losing. And obviously the Cougars had a very bumpy debut into the Big 12 this year. Congrats to both the Rice Owls and the Texas State Bobcats for making it to a bowl game. We'll find out which bowl game and against what opponents this coming weekend. But that's very nice. And both the Bobcats and the Owls posted big victories over this just completed weekend. Do not be dismayed, Texans fans, because the Texans are not a fluke. That's a good football team. Now, that loss yesterday to the Jags was tough, but the Texans can hang with anybody. CJ was great again, although he did take a late and unnecessary and very costly sack in the closing seconds. But on the other hand, he still passed for over 300 yards for the fourth consecutive game, and that's the first time a rookie NFL quarterback has ever done that. So that's a huge game looming this coming Sunday between the Texans and the white-hot Broncos, who have rebounded from a 1-5 start to win 5 straight games. And don't give me any of this stuff about the Eagles being the worst 10-1 team in the history of the... Are you kidding me? That team is absolutely nails. 10-1 is 10-1, and that was quite the rally in the rain yesterday against the Bills. The Eagles have come back from second half deficits to win in 4 consecutive games. So this coming weekend showdown, did you circle this one? Did you see it? Eagles and Niners this weekend? You bet. Okay, as good as CJ has been, the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL right now at this instant, if you take a snapshot, both reside in the NFC East. Jalen Hurts and, yes, Dak Prescott. Mahomes and the Chiefs started to get it together yesterday against the Raiders, and I'm aware of what Lamar Jackson is doing for the now 9-3 Ravens. By the way, Jalen Hurts, 16-1 in his last 17 regular season starts. The Chargers are disgusting. I don't know why I'm wearing this shirt, except, it looks good. Unbelievable. With all that talent on both sides of the ball, that team is 4-7. Bye-bye, Brandon. All right, I gave up on at least 2 NFC teams a little too early. I'm talking about the Packers and the Rams, because they both now have a shot to claw their way into the postseason. And you know what else? I'm getting a sneaky suspicion that when the dust, or in this case, dirt, clears in the NFC South, the surviving cockroach will be, wait for it, the Atlanta Falcons, because they finally discovered that Bijan Robinson plays on their football team. The Steelers gained 400 yards yesterday against the Bengals for the first time in 3 years. They only scored 16 points, but it was enough to get the job done. The Steelers and Tomlin are amazing. Tomlin has never had a losing season in Pittsburgh, and he ain't going to have one this year either. The Lions are 8-3, but you watching that game on Thanksgiving amidst your tryptophan coma? Man, Goff has suddenly become a turnover machine, and the Lions defense is just unraveling. Both the Vikings and Packers now have a chance to track down Detroit in the NFC North. Okay. Ravens kicker Justin Tucker remains the gold standard in my book, although he did yank one last night. You saw that, right? But we've all got to give it up to Philadelphia's Jake Elliott, who banged through a 59-yarder in the rain with 20 seconds left to get his team into overtime. Over his career, this is astounding, Elliott is now 8 for 8 on game-tying or go-ahead field goals in the final 2 minutes or overtime. That is clutch. That is nails. Now, Cowboys kicker, Brandon Aubrey, true, he has not missed a field goal all year long, but he's botched 3 PATs, and that makes me very, very nervous. The Seahawks ain't gonna make it, and they can blame themselves for the fact that they lost both games to the Rams, but they're fading fast. And keep in mind, Seattle still has to play the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Niners. One final thing, I'm not giving up on the Longhorns' college football playoff chances. Things could still break right, but they need to put the hammer down on Oklahoma State. Good to be talking football with you. See you tomorrow. We are Radically Rational.